The following series relates to the marks secured by students in examination. We have the class intervals where the mark between 0 to 10, the number of students are 11, and marks 10 to 20, number of students are 18, and it goes up to 90 to 100 where number of students are 10. Now we have to find quartiles. So this is a series where, or this is the data where you have continuous series. When you have continuous series, you have to find out quartiles using 4 layers or 4 steps. Step 1 is finding cumulative frequency. So we have the marks which we'll call as X. We have the number of students, the frequency, we'll call that as F. The number of students, the frequency will be called as F. So what is step 1? Step 1, basically we have to find out what is cumulative frequency. So I'm going to reproduce the information in the question here, that is the marks and number of students. So that is coming here. The marks which I'm going to call as class interval, and number of students is F frequency. Okay, so now we have to find out cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency is nothing but you have to add the current frequency with the previous frequency. For example, for 0 to 10, there are 11 students and the cumulative frequency got to be 11 because you can't have a negative mark. Then for 10 to 20, there are 18 students. So the cumulative frequency is going to be 18 plus this 11. So it is 29. And for 20 to 30 marks, frequency is 25. Cumulative frequency is going to be this 25 plus 29, and it is going to be 54. And in this way, we have to calculate for each and every item. So if we calculate for each and every item, we are going to get this cumulative frequency. So let me just clear this. We'll have this as cumulative frequency for each and every item. So this is our step 1. Our step 2 requires we have to find out what is n by 4. And what is n? N is nothing but summation of the frequency. So this is the frequency, and if you sum them, if you are going to sum all this, which is of course you can know from here last cumulative frequency 204. So this is summation of frequency, which is 204, and it is called as n. So our step 2 demands that we have to find out what is n by 4 so that we can have the first quartile class. We can find out what is the first quartile class. So we know n is 204. Okay, we know n is 204 divided by 4. So we'll do that. N by 4, 204 divided by 4, we have the number as 51. So this will help us to find out what is quartile 1 class. And if we can find out what is 3 into n by 4, in this case it is 3 into 204 by 4, and we get the value as 153, and this is quartile 3 class. So how do we find this? What we have to do, let's just go back to our step. Step 3 says we have to see in the cumulative frequency the value which is just greater than n4, then the corresponding class interval is called as first quartile class. So now our value is 51. Our value is 51. We have to look for the value in cumulative frequency which should be just greater than 51. So let's go back to the cumulative frequency. If you notice here, you have the value 54, which is just greater than your n by 4, 51. So what we are going to do is we'll select this particular value. Let me just highlight this. We'll select this particular class as quartile 1 class. Similarly, let's focus on Q3. Q3 value is 153, so we have to select the value which is just greater than 153. So here if you notice, you have the value 167, and 167 is greater than 153, so we can select this class. We can select this class, and this is going to be called as quartile 3 class. So once we have quartile 1 class and quartile 3 class, it would be possible for us to find out what is quartile 1 and 3, and these are all the formulas. The formula for quartile 1, we know that it is L1 plus n by 4 minus m1 divided by f1 into c1. So what is L1? L1 is the lowest, we have it here. L1 is the lower limit in the first quartile class. So we have our first quartile class and this 20 is L1. So let me write that L1 is 20 plus n divided by 4. What is n? N is summation of f. So we had the summation of f as 204. So it is basically 204 divided by 4. 204 divided by 4, the value is 51 minus m1. What is m1? M1 is basically the cumulative frequency preceding the first quartile class. So what is our first quartile class? We had our first quartile class here as this, and the 29, which is the cumulative frequency preceding the quartile class, will be called as M1. So our M1 is 29. Then we have to divide it by F1. F1 is nothing but the frequency for this first quartile class. So this is our first quartile class and this is the frequency. So this is going to be called as F1. So we'll have F1 here. Then multiplied by C1. What is C1? C1 is the width of this class interval. 20 to 30. What is the width? The difference is 10. So this is called as C1. So multiplied by 10. So if you do this mathematics, you get the number as 28.8 and this is quartile 1. Okay. Similarly, let's find out quartile 3. Okay, let me clear all this mess now. What is the formula for quartile 3? The formula for quartile 3 is L3 plus 3 into n by 4 minus m3 divided by f3 multiplied by c3. So what is L3? Okay, let's go back to the respective quartile class. This is quartile class 3. Okay, so let me just make it little legible. Yeah. So this is the lower limit. I mean this 60 is the lower limit. So we'll call this as L3. So here we'll write L3 is 60 plus 3 into n divided by 4. N by 4 we know already, we have done. N by 4 is 51. So 51 into 3 we will get 153. So that part is taken care of, right? The next is minus M3. What is M3? We know this is our quartile 3 class, right? This is our quartile 3 class from here till here. The cumulative frequency which is preceding your quartile 3 class. So what is the cumulative frequency that precedes my quartile 3 class? It is 145. So this is going to be M3. So here we'll write M3 is 145. Then divided by F3. F3 represents the frequency. In this case it is 22. So divided by 22 multiplied by the difference or the width. Okay, multiplied by the width. Let me just note down. The width here is 60 to 70. So the width is 10. So we'll have that that is C3 is 10. So if you multiply this 60 plus 3.64, you are going to get 63.64, and that is quartile 3 and this is quartile 1.